It's 8 o'clock and I'm just getting things going. A lot of hikers showed up last night, so a lot of them after dark even. And then with the electric lights inside, they stayed up very late and were very loud. I even got the earplugs out. So, getting going. So the cabin was down that way, coming from that way, and going that way. Whenever I thought to look at the thermometer, it said 45 degrees, and it's like 8:30 right now. Talking to some hikers that tried to hike those last few miles before the fire closure. Sounds like there was a problem with hikers getting up there. Rangers were up there taking people out and all that, so I'm pretty glad that I just skipped around that. And then, while I was hitchhiking yesterday, a bee got in my sleeve and stung me. I didn't think much about it, but this morning it was pretty swollen and itchy. And somebody else I haven't seen for a while has shown up. Mosquitoes. But not a lot of them. It's a quiet, cool morning. Coming up from that way in a uphill stretch. Still have a little over 3 miles, but only like 1,100 foot of elevation gain. Little parts might be steep, but the thermometer still says like 60. But I'm working up a sweat, so I'll take off the long sleeve shirt. It's just been so quiet today. I love it. Coming up from over there. Only about a mile left of this uphill stretch. Going over there. The rocks are new. That's why I thought to do a video. Coming from that way and getting into a lot more rocks. Luckily, hasn't been a lot of them underfoot going that way. It's about 11:30 and I'm starting downhill. And I'm kind of thinking today should be mellow from here on out. Downhill or not very steep up. I don't know if those birds picked up on the mic. All right, here I go. Heading down. Couple of dead trees out here, and I'm just pretty sure this is a spot, the spot. Get it? X marks the spot. It's Charlton Lake. I'm going to get some water because I drank the last of mine and it's about 5.5 miles to the next water and it might not be any good. This water is super clear. Today's been very quiet. I've been here for about 10 minutes filtering water. There is a couple of hikers here and one of them talked the whole time. And I am feeling tired. Have been for a little while. So I'll do as many miles as I can, but I really want to find a quiet campsite. Coming from that way. And there was a fire here a year or two back. It looks like I'm at the edge of the burn zone. Hopefully all the blowdowns are cleared. That's still Charlton Lake over there. I'm going that way. Here and there are clumps of live trees, baby trees, but there's an awful lot of area where the ground is completely scorched, not even grass growing. Coming from that way. Heading over there. Coming from there. And this area was especially burnt up. Going up there. Area is pretty scorched. There's this one, and then this tree really stands out. Like everything else was burning, and he was just like, "No, I'm fine." There's a couple of live ones, but mostly it's all scorched. Going that way. Going that way. Coming from that way. Coming from that way. Starting to get a little bit more of a view. I'm sure it'll get better as I go that way. That's the Three Sisters over there. And I see live trees in the distance. So just a couple more miles. Coming from over there. Coming from up there. It's 3:30. This area is still burned, but it's not as completely just destroyed. And I think I'm about a mile from where I start getting into live trees again. Coming from there. I'm not completely out of the burn zone yet, but it's getting greener. This is Irish Lake. I'm up at the north end. I didn't get a good view until now. Water's still pretty clear. coming from over there. And this just looked neat. Looked like where there's probably a big snowbank. I'm going over there. Here's some trees. So this is Brahma Lake. And I got over here, taking a little side trail to a campsite not marked on the map. And there's actually a nice one over there too. And I really want a quiet campsite. But it's just now 5 o'clock. And I've got a couple more miles in me. And a couple miles here and a couple miles there add up. Because it's still like, I think it's 67 miles to the next highway where I might get off to resupply. That's not much. That's the first flowing water I've seen for a day or two, so I'm going to drink some. It's 5:40. There's a campsite there. There's a tent site there. And I bet they would both be quiet. Because nobody wants to sleep next to this. Can you see it, or is it all sun glare? It's super shallow. Somebody described it as a mosquito nursery. PCT goes that way. That's Stormy Lake. And there's plenty of hikers that could show up tonight. And since the trail follows along the side of the lake for like 1/10 of a mile, I think I'm going to look for a campsite over there. This is a pretty lake. Not much more than a big pond. But the water is very clear. I can see that other hikers have been camping over here. And I don't really want to, because the spot that's big enough for my tent is right here. And then there's a couple of spots that might be big enough, but I'm going to go on up and find something farther from the water, because you really ought not camp right next to the water. Seems like most of the sites are down next to the water. But I'm not going to. I'm going to camp up there. But this spot over here had me very tempted. If for no other reason, it has a really good sitting rock. But I'll make do with what's up by that other site.